My name is Natalie. I'm 28, oldest of two, the one who fixes the printer, scrapes the casserole dish, and remembers when the trash goes out. I work front of house at a hotel, schedules, events, seating charts. I like lists with boxes I can tick, drawers that close all the way, and receipts that match what I actually bought. If you ask my parents, I'm dependable. If you ask me, I'm the person who keeps the lights on while everyone else enjoys the room. My sister Laya is 24. She's the glitter, creative, airy, meant for big things. She texts in exclamation points and never plugs in a phone charger all the way. We grew up in a small, loud house where help meant I did it and family meant I paid for it. Laya always had an audience. I always had a dish towel. When we were kids and Mom had people over, I set out plates and wiped fingerprints off the fridge while Laya tried on outfits in my parents' room and appeared at the last minute. When I got my first job, Dad charged me $150 for the house. When Laya got hers, Mom said, "Just focus on your dreams." December is busy at the hotel. We do a dozen office parties and 2 charity galas. My December is a spreadsheet with color-coded blocks and breaks penciled in like a joke. This year, I circled one day, December 24th, because it was mine. I'd saved 3 PTO days back to back for the first time ever. I wanted quiet. I wanted to wake up without a list. One day before Christmas, I stopped by my parents' place with a tin of cookies from the hotel bakery. Mom was in the kitchen wearing her "Hosting is my cardio" sweatshirt. Dad had a football game on mute. Laya was on the couch, bare feet tucked under her, scrolling. Mom greeted me with that bright tone she uses when there's already a plan. "Oh, perfect timing," she said. "Your sister's friends are spending Christmas here, only 35 people." I laughed because sometimes the only sound you can make is a mistake. 35, Laya said without looking up. "It's basically my whole creative cohort plus," she added, "vibes." Mom started pulling out the big roasting pan. "We'll do stations," she said. "Grazing board, carving, dessert. You can do the timeline." "Me?" I said, like I was a guest in this conversation. "Obviously you," Dad said, eyes on the screen. "You're good at this." Mom was already listing. "We need chairs. We need extra ice. We need a vegetarian option. You'll handle the turkey, the ham, the salmon. Ask your hotel if you can borrow chafers. And Laya needs a mocktail bar, and there's a gluten-free person." "And 2 gluten-free," Laya added, still scrolling. Mom looked at me with the smirk I know too well. "Don't worry," she added. "Grown men don't need to open presents. They need to take responsibility." Dad, without looking, added, "Get used to discipline, daughter. You've got 24 hours. My mouth did that small smile it does when I want to say no, but the room expects yes. The kitchen was bright. The counter was clean. The roasting pan's metal sounded like a bell when Mom set it down. I glanced at the fridge where Mom had stuck a sticky note that said, "Menu," with a blank under it like a dare. I could feel a list trying to crawl into my head and sit down. 35, I repeated. "Only," Mom said. Laya snapped a photo of the empty cutting board like the start of a cooking show. "Christmas content," she said. I set the cookies on the counter. I took a breath I hoped nobody could hear, and I said very quietly, "Got it." I didn't argue. Not there, not then. I walked to the sink, ran the water, and watched it turn hot. The faucet hissed like a secret. The trigger wasn't a shout. It was that smirk. It was only 35. It was the way my name had already been written on a blank menu in a house where I didn't live. I dried my hands on a towel that always smells like lemon cleaner and put the cookies in the pantry. Nobody asked me what I wanted for Christmas. They never do. Someone should have. The job title at the hotel says Assistant Event Manager. In my family, it translates to free labor with a smile. It started small. I plated deviled eggs when I was 12 because you're neat with your hands. By 16, I was grilling for 20 because you're good with timing. By 20, I was the one who knew where Mom kept the extra tablecloths and how to wedge a folding table so it didn't wobble. "You're a natural," Mom would say like she discovered me. Money always showed up with a new name. Dad called it discipline when he took $150 from my part-time paycheck for room and board. Mom called it helping when she added me to the family phone plan and then forgot to switch her card back after I paid 2 months in a row. Laya called it energy when she texted, "Can you spot me $83? The universe will return it." The universe never did. There were scenes that live in my head like reruns. Senior year, my graduation party was combined with Laya's early portfolio showing. I set up lights, hauled ice, and got told to move my own cake to make room for her ring light. When I got a promotion at the hotel, I brought champagne. Mom reached past the bottle and said, "Oh, good. You can finally buy those new dining chairs." "We did, I paid," I said. Dad said, "A man provides," like furniture was a test I'd been told about too late. The family group chat is a beehive for assignments. "Natalie, can you pick up Aunt Ray at 4? "Natalie, Costco run." "Natalie, table for 12. I learned to answer with thumbs up or not at all. When I didn't respond, Mom would text, "Don't be cold," and then call the hotel, "Just popping by," and ask my manager to remind me about our big family weekend. My manager would smile politely and bring me the message like it was a flower with a thorn. Laya floated through it all like a balloon. She soft-launched 3 businesses and hard-launched none. Candle brand pop-up brunches, a podcast that was mostly mood boards. She got gifted a leased SUV because safety, and cried when Dad said she had to pay insurance. "It's predatory," she said. I watched Dad turn predatory into a story about how the world is unfair to artists. He told me to make room. Make room for what? For who? For the version of my sister that exists only in captions. Last Christmas, I cooked for 18 because Grandma can't do it anymore. I wrote a shopping list, paid for extras. That became the rule and sliced my thumb when the good knife met the bad angle. Mom dabbed at the blood with a dish towel and said, "You okay?" She didn't slow down. None of us did. We served at 5. In March, Laya hosted a vision brunch for 12 and borrowed my hotel discount to rent chafers. "You can bring them," she said. "You know how to set them up." After she posted a photo with my hands in the frame and wrote, "Grateful for community," I got 2 texts from strangers asking if I catered. I wrote back, "No," and got a 3rd text from Mom. We could make a business of this. April was the rent conversation. "Stop wasting money," Dad said. "Move back home. Save." He said save, like it meant the same thing to everyone. Our house had 1 bathroom and 3 people who never knocked. I stayed put in my 1 bedroom with creaky floors and silence. I paid for it. I swallowed their disappointment like a pill with no water. Summer was busy at the hotel. Every Saturday had a couple with candle centerpieces and a DJ who thought volume was love. I collected overtime and bought a suitcase. I started a folder called Elsewhere Photos, Lists, Prices. Not because I hate my family, but because I wanted to know what it felt like to be in a room where nobody knew my last name. By fall, Mom's asks turned from "can you" to "you will." She sent a Google sheet titled Christmas Plan. The first line wasn't who's coming, it was Menu Natalie under budget. She wrote, "We'll discuss." That means you'll pay and we'll forget. Then only 35 landed. Laya's friends, Laya's people, people with names like Forrest, Area, Sage, and 1 guy who goes by initials. Mom listed out a wish list like a Pinterest board with a heartbeat. "Just think how nice it'll look," she said. "We'll need rental chairs, 35 tablecloths, 7 extra plates. You can borrow from the hotel. No one will notice." "I said they will," I said. She waved it off. "It's the season." Dad added, "We need a signature cocktail. You do those, right? Not too sweet. Use that good ice. And you might as well cover the Costco run. Your card gets points." Laya chimed in, "No dairy, no soy, no nuts, no nightshades, but make it cozy." I looked at them and saw the shape of it. Me at dawn, basting 2 birds, slicing vegetables, composing text to staff to find a spare heat lamp. Me with a timer in 1 hand, a ladle in the other. Me at 10 p.m., hauling out trash while Laya filmed a "what a night" story. And Mom said, "We did that." Then Mom tossed in the last garnish. "And you'll drop the deposit for the tent today?" She said like weather was on my payroll. "It's only $900 to hold." Only Dad echoed. He took that word out like a pocket knife and cleaned his nails with it. "Who's paying me back?" I asked. The room went quiet like I'd said a curse. Mom recovered first. "Don't be transactional," she said. "It's ugly. This is family." Dad added, "We're giving you a project. You should be grateful." Grateful for what? Being a staff member at my own family. I swallowed. I nodded. I nodded because that's what I do when my head is loud and my mouth wants to be quiet. That night, I opened the Elsewhere folder and looked at a picture I'd saved of a gray street with a bakery on the corner and a blue door. I stared until my shoulders dropped. I didn't tell anyone what was inside that folder. It wasn't a secret. It was a boundary that hadn't learned to speak yet. The meeting happened the next morning because Mom loves a meeting. She had a printed agenda with boxes and a title, Christmas Run of Show. Dad had his coach voice. Laya had her camera on selfie mode, ready for behind the scenes. We sat at the kitchen table. The roasting pan glinted from the counter like a trophy I hadn't asked for. Mom started, "Okay, Natalie, you'll shop tonight. 2 turkeys, 1 ham, salmon fillet for the pescatarians, veggie station for the plant-based people. We'll set up the rental chairs at noon tomorrow. You can pick them up at 9 a.m. And no, I said it wasn't loud. It was clean. 3 heads turned. Leia's camera stopped. Mom blinked, smile still in place like a stuck screen. "What?" "No," I repeated. "I'm not catering your party." Dad leaned back. "Watch your tone." "This is my tone," I said, level. Leia laughed, the mean kind. "You're joking," she said. "I'm not," I said. "I'm not your chef, I'm not your ruler, I'm not your rental account, I'm your daughter. I'm Leia's sister." Mom's voice went syrupy. "Sweetheart, we're family. We show up. I show up." I said, "I've shown up for years. I've shown up with my hands and my card." Dad's jaw clenched. "A man provides," I finished. "I know. I've heard that since I was 15. Here's mine. A person sets limits. I'm not cooking Christmas for 35 of Laya's friends. I'm not paying deposits. I'm not borrowing chafers. I'm not risking my job for your party." Laya scorched me with a look. "So what? We just cancel? You'll embarrass me?" "No," I said. "You'll host your party with your resources." "Natalie," Mom snapped. Real voice now, the one with edges. "Don't ruin the holiday." I held her eyes. "I'm not ruining it. I'm opting out of being your staff." Dad slapped his palm on the table. Silverware jumped. "We will not be disrespected in our own house." I stood. My legs felt like mine. "Then respect me in your house." Mom reached for the last lever after everything we've done for you. I nodded. "I know. You raised me. You fed me. And since 16, I paid you $150 a month for the privilege. I added you to my phone plan. I covered groceries when your card glitched. I ran your parties. I took Grandma to appointments. I love you. I'm done being your unpaid employee." Laya's voice cracked into a whine. "You're jealous, T," she said. "People like me." "I like you," I said. "I don't like being used." Dad's face went red. "If you walk out, don't come back tomorrow. You're banned from Christmas." "Banned?" Like I was a teenager asking to borrow the car. I looked at Leia's camera lens, black and flat. I looked at Mom's agenda. I looked at the roasting pan. "This isn't about revenge," I said. "This is about closure." They stared. The words sat in the middle of the table like a glass of water nobody wanted to touch. "What does that even mean?" Laya snapped. "It means I'm closing the role you wrote for me," I said. "You can be angry. You can host. You can cancel. I'm not your solution." Mom stood. "If you leave, you're selfish." "If I stay, I'm a servant," I said. "I choose selfish." Dad pointed at the door. "Go then." "Okay," I said. I didn't slam anything. I walked to the front hall. I picked up my coat. I took the cookies I'd brought back out of the pantry because I knew they'd get repurposed without asking. Laya whispered something with my name in it, like a curse. Mom said, "She'll be back?" I turned at the threshold. "Grandma's covered," I said. I already arranged her taxi for Christmas morning and a lunch reservation for 2 at noon. She won't be here either way. 2, Mom snapped. "With who?" "With whoever shows up for her," I said. "You're invited." Dad scoffed. "We have guests." "I know," I said. I stepped out into the cold, pulled the door gently shut, and put my phone on airplane mode in the driveway. The sky was the flat kind of winter blue that makes everything look honest. I sat in my car and watched the steam from my breath fade. This time, leaving wasn't a storm. It was a door that finally closed all the way the first time I pushed it. I didn't make a speech to my phone. I made moves. At home, I opened my laptop and a folder I'd named Elsewhere. There was a confirmation email from 3 weeks ago sitting at the top like a quiet yes. Round trip to Paris. Red eye out of our city at 11:45 p.m. Back on the 28th. Hotel booked with points. I'd saved all year. Cash tips in a jar. Overtime. Lunch had made it home. The ticket had been my gift to myself. I hadn't told anyone because in my family, news gets recruited into the group chat before it gets to be yours. I checked in. I picked a window seat. I printed the boarding pass because paper calms me. Phone back on. 12 missed calls. 3 from Mom, 2 from Dad, 7 from Laya. The texts hit in a stack. M, you're being obscene. Dad, grow up. Ella, you're killing my event. Mo, we'll talk at 6. Be here. Dad, non-negotiable. I didn't go at 6 a.m. I packed a carry-on with 3 sweaters, 2 pairs of jeans, socks, a paperback, my passport, a list of bakeries I wanted to try. I fed my neighbor's cat, prearranged, texted her a photo, and left a spare key with her in exchange for watering my plant. At 7:03, Mom called. I let it ring. At 7:05, Dad called. I let it ring. At 7:12, Leia in all caps. Everyone is counting on you. I sent one text. I'm not hosting your party. At 8:40, I ordered a taxi to the airport. At 9:10, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. For everyone except Grandma and Airline. At 9:45, I got a notification. Leia added me to an Instagram story. I didn't click. At 10:02, an email pinged from the tent rental place. Hi, Natalie. Just confirming we have a tentative hold. Please complete deposit by 8 p.m. to secure. I replied, please release. I won't be paying or picking up. I CC'd Mom. At 10:10, a reply from Mom. Are you sick? At 10:15, a reply from the rental place, released as requested. At 10:27, I called Grandma. I'm going to be away for a few days, I said. Your taxi is for 11:00 a.m. on the 25th. Lunch is at noon. Order number is 48271. They know you like the window table. She chuckled. You always did have a head, she said. Go see something you want. At 11:45, wheels up, phone in airplane mode. The city fell away like a complicated conversation. I didn't need to finish. I slept terribly and wonderfully at the same time. I woke over a pale grid of fields and thought I took my own time back. When I turned my phone on after landing, it went berserk. 39 missed calls, 112 texts, a new group chat named Emergency Now. The scroll read like a script. By the time the first guests arrived at my parents' house, the kitchen was still bare, counters empty, ovens cold, nothing prepared. Mom's smirk vanished. Her face drained of color as she realized there was no meal waiting, only a crowd expecting service. Mom, where are you? Laya, we need the keys to the church hall. Dad, pick up your phone. Mom, the turkey is still frozen. Laya, you're ruining my brand. Mom, Natalie, handle this. Dad will remember this. Unknown. This is Sage. Is there quinoa? Mom, well, answer. Laya, I told everyone you had a meltdown. Mom, your aunt is on her way. Mom, where is the good salt? Leia, we need ice. Mom, we need ice. Dad, stubborn. Mom, we found rice. Leia, our oven is slow. Mom, guests are arriving. Message after message kept proving the same truth. The kitchen they counted on me to fill had stayed empty, and every missing dish turned into another frantic text. Mom, where is the carving knife? I stared at that last one for a long second and then put my phone down on the tiny hotel desk. Outside my window, a street moved like a quiet thought. I put on a coat and went to find a bakery that appeared in 5 different blog posts as nothing special, but good. The line moved fast. The woman handed me a bag and said something I didn't catch. I said, mercy. The one word I had in me. Back in my room, another stack. Laya, there's no mocktail. Mom, the gluten-free person brought bread. Dad, we're out of plates. Mom, where is the good salt? I typed. My kitchen doesn't have the good salt. I took it home months ago. Deleted it. Better not to crack the door. A single text from Grandma. Taxi scheduled. Thank you. The tone shifted. Mom, you're banned from New Year's until you apologize. Dad, you pay your share or you're cut off. Yaya, you're dead to me. Cut off from what? The unpaid internship I'd held in their lives. I ate warm bread and fell asleep like a person who hadn't slept in weeks. Morning, Christmas, quiet streets, gray sky, a church bell somewhere I didn't belong to. I made coffee that tasted like a burnt idea and walked along a river. Nobody knew me. Nobody asked for ice. At noon, Grandma sent a photo. Her with a paper crown from a Christmas cracker, sitting by a window with a plate of roasted chicken and potatoes next to her. Aunt Ray with the same crown, smiling. Caption: good, warm. I smiled so hard my face hurt. Afternoon. I took inventory like I do after events, but this time the inventory was mine, family plan. I logged in, paid the current balance, scheduled a split for the end of the cycle. My line only. I texted Mom and Laya links to transfer lines to their own accounts by the 31st. Streaming, change passwords, logged out of all devices. Wholesale club, removed the household add-on. Grocery app, deleted saved addresses other than mine. Removed my card. Bank, moved my savings to a new bank with a 2-factor login and a name nobody knows. Credit freeze with all 3 bureaus. Pins in a place my family never checks. Mail. Set up informed delivery and a hold for 5 days. House keys. The spare I'd given Mom last year went missing. I scheduled a locksmith for my place on the 29th. New locks. New codes. I wasn't punishing, I was cleaning. I was turning off the taps only I had turned on. Mom tried soft. We can reset after the holidays, she wrote. Just admit you were dramatic. I typed back, I'm not resetting to being your staff. She replied with a single word, ungrateful. Yaya posted a story of people in Christmas sweaters in our parents' living room, eating something that looked like rice with cranberry sauce. Caption, we made it work. Good. They should learn how. Dad finally said the real part. Equity line, he wrote. We need to talk about tapping your savings for family needs. You're being selfish. I put my phone face down and stared at the patterned hotel wallpaper until the room stopped spinning. Then I wrote 3 sentences. I'm not your emergency fund. I will help Grandma directly. Everything else is no. He sent back, we won't forget this. Me either. On the 26th, I sat in a cafe and opened my email. There was an offer from our European partner hotel, a 3-month assignment starting late January, housing provided, stipend, a chance to learn their systems. I'd applied in October at 2:00 a.m. and then told myself it was a daydream. HR had sent the offer on the 23rd. I hadn't seen it. I accepted. New start date, January 23rd. Paris, but not a vacation. Work. A door I chose. I texted my landlord when I got back to my room. Notice given. I messaged Mike from work. Can you store 2 boxes? He sent back a thumbs up and a question. You okay? I wrote better than okay. On the 27th, I flew home. At baggage claim, my phone caught a final batch. Mom, so you're really doing this. Dad, Paris, childish. Laya, no one will help me move in January. Grandma, bring me a magnet. I put my phone in my pocket and smiled. A magnet I could do. Back at my apartment, I made a list and taped it to the fridge. Exit. 1 column for accounts, 1 for dates, 1 for done. I started checking boxes. The real surprise wasn't Paris. It was that the part of me they counted on, silent, useful, available, didn't come back with me. January cooled everything down. People get tired of being loud. Mom tried one more time with, we can fix this if you sign a family agreement. And I answered, no, Dad. Send a link to a storage unit, and I answered my lease since the 20th. Yaya texted last chance to support my launch, and I sent a screenshot of my calendar with a little airplane icon. I moved in small trips, 2 boxes to Mike, 1 suitcase to my parents' doorstep for Grandma. Paris Magnet will scarf a note with my new number and the hours I'd be awake her time. I rang the bell and left before Mom could open the door. On my last night in my apartment, I made pasta and ate it on the floor because the chairs were already gone. I wrote a list on a sticky note and stuck it in my passport. I will help Grandma directly. I will not co-sign feelings. I will not be the family's unpaid staff. I will not call control love. I will answer when I mean yes. I will say no without essays. At the airport, my phone buzzed. Mom, are you proud of yourself? I wrote, I'm proud I stopped lying. She sent to who? I wrote to myself. In Paris, my room is small, the radiator clicks, and the window looks at a slice of sky. I walk to work. I count dogs on the way. I learn how the elevators here always pause before they remember you. I make coffee on a hot plate and toast bread until it's almost burned because that's how I like it. I answer my phone when Grandma calls. I send her photos of bridges and pigeons. I ignore the group chat until the phone quiets on its own. People keep asking for a moral. I don't have a sentence for everyone. I have a sentence for me. I didn't escape. I closed the door I'd been holding open for years because I thought that's what good daughters do. The party went on without me. Good. It should. It's theirs. So is the cleanup. I'm not a servant. I'm not a wallet. I'm not stock for other people's seasons. My name is Natalie. I'm 28. I booked the trip. I took it. I took the job. I took my life back in small, boring, permanent ways. When I fly home someday, I'll bring Grandma another magnet. I'll bring myself back to a house where the kitchen is empty until I decide to cook. And if someone says only 35, I'll smile and say the smallest, clearest word I own.